All right, and we're live.
Yay! Who are you again?
Hey, wait a minute.
Hey.
Long time no see.
Yeah, really.
Oh, so Chris has had some time off, and I was assuming
I wish I had some time off.
I was assuming it was just so you could digest the player's handbook for 2024.
I'm going to leave right now. I'm going to leave right now.
So we're expecting your review.
It sucks. How about that?
Okay.
That's all it's getting.
Yes.
I wish I had that time off. I think I had like 1 day off, right?
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mountain Day observed or whatever it was.
Yeah. Was it Mountain Day? I don't remember, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah.
Nice. So what have you been up to?
Okay.
Gaming
wise, let's see. I guess two things. One, I started working on of course, the little people, right? The miniatures. I started working on a team of 5 convicts. For Mail of Miniatures Convict Combat, which and the reason I did that is because he decided to make this kind of game just because he had the box of Wargame Atlantic's cannon fodder, Deathfield's cannon fodder.
Right.
And I said, hey, I've got a box of that too. I just got them because they looked so kind of cool. Don't know what I'm going to do with them. And I said, why not make a team? And so I was working on like scenic bases and then stuff like that. And then a lot of stuff happened. And I'm like, so then I switched over to like 2mm stuff because I still have like I'm painting little pegs, right?
Right.
I have a bunch of 2mm wooden kits from Lasercast, and I'm just finally going to start using those again.
Oh, cool.
Because I also bought more of them. Anyway,
Oh, wow.
they haven't arrived yet, but they're on the way. But
Nice.
anyway, yeah.
So how did those work though? Because I saw the photos on social media. So how did the
They are like a raft, I think that's what it's called, of 2mm thick formaldehyde-free plywood that has been scribed with a laser, and they're kind of like blocks or groups or kind of formations of troops, and they're basically a circle with a bit of an edge. So if you blew it up, it would almost look like a Lego brick. Right? Like there's this kind of like round shape, and then there's like a smaller kind of peg on top that's vaguely the head.
Right.
So yeah, what you do is like you very carefully kind of like paint around the edge, or like on these kind of like pegs to show individual bodies if you want, and then like a dot of color on the head. Like I'm doing Athenian hoplites for one armor or one army. So it's just after putting them on the base, I used dark brown contrast paint on the whole block, did like a dot of bronze on the top to indicate the helmets, then very carefully did a stripe of bronze across like the top half and a stripe of white across the bottom half, and that's like breastplate and kind of like robes. And then on the back of them, I did the entire back half in like a color, and I said they're Athenians. Okay, so it's going to be kind of like a purple cloak. So it's just purple, or blue, blue. And from far away, which is like it looks like a huge block of kind of hoplites. And I did some kind of like skirmishers. No armor. They're just a dot of different brown or black colors for hair, and random colors across the whole peg to represent the fact that these are kind of not organized, but So they're
cool.
they're very small.
Yeah.
Right? Yes, very small.
Nice.
But I mean, like you back up and you're like, that is a block of troops, and that's kind of how you have to paint them, right?
Right.
You're not like you're not painting miniatures.
Color,
you're just like putting dots and you're putting dots and stripes and lines.
Right.
I think like Lasercast said, like, okay, don't worry about painting so much. Like if you can do dots and lines and stripes, like you can do it, right?
Wow, cool.
Yeah.
Well, interesting. Yeah. I liked. They looked really good on your photos, and so I was curious.
From far enough away, it's like and also they paint up a lot faster,
right.
and they're a lot cheaper.
Right, very cheap. Yes.
I also have some 2mm stuff coming from Irregular Miniatures. That's metal and that's cast, so there actually is a little bit more detail. You can actually see like bows in people's hands. So we'll see what that looks like.
Nice.
Yeah, I am going to be building grain of rice scale armies, right? Actually, grain of rice is bigger than an individual 2mm guy, right?
Yeah, that's a little too big. Let's not go
Whoa,
crazy.
grain of rice. That's like a giant, right?
Anyway. It's a war machine on the the battlefield. Let's calm down.
That's fun.
That's cool. Yeah, I liked how that looked. I thought that was a really clever idea, like laser cutting.
It is.
Yeah, it's a really good.
I like it. It's also pretty cheap, right?
Yeah, and it looks. I mean, it does look like hordes. I mean, it looks like a giant, flanked, ranked troops. So
Yeah,
it looks
like
really
I've
cool.
only have kind of like regular troops. I have ordered what's called like mobs and skirmishers, which are like just like a mass of irregularly arranged people, right? The one downside, I'm trying to use them for De Bellis Antiquitatis, which is like a pretty famous ancient to medieval war game. There's lots of different troop types, and one problem I ran into is like, okay, how do I show that this block of troops are spearmen, which is a type of unit, versus this block of troops, which is blades, because they function differently in the game. So I've decided, I finally found out a way, like, okay, this many ranks or this arrangement of the blocks indicate the different unit types. So we'll see how it goes. Yeah, the hoplite army is like 9 units of spears, 10 units of spears, and some javelins. So it's like, I haven't gotten any different units yet, but yeah. Anyway.
Nice. All right. Yeah, so I've been posting the audio for our Vis and
I've seen that.
The actual play. And we got all the way through. So I took the last mystery, and just kind of put all 3 parts together, because I was just like releasing them every night. And but this is the one whole mystery in one whole block, because it was when we first started live streaming. So I had the video for it. So it's got a little bit of a visual element.
Nice.
Whereas the other ones were just a looped
only,
video.
yep.
Yeah. So we'll see. We'll get all of that out, and maybe get back to that, because that listening to that again made me want to play.
Oh, nice! Yeah,
play that game again. So
that's what actual plays are for, to encourage the people who run the game to get back to it.
Yeah. And I was hoping Alien Romulus was going to inspire me to want to play some Alien, but
it did not.
It did not. The first 30 minutes of it, I'm like, yes, we're playing Alien again, or at least Mothership.
Right,
like we're getting back into it.
I read a really good kind of review / essay about it, and that made me think, you know what, I'll just stream it, or I'll wait for it to come out.
Yeah. Right? I think that's a good idea. Yeah.
In a nutshell, the author basically said, they didn't do this. This is mine. They said, okay, similar to Star Wars: The Force Awakens, like things had to happen simply because it was an Aliens movie, rather than we're doing this because it's interesting. And I also didn't realize it was still kind of like a prequel, where like they had another really good point about, okay, you know what, IPs, like fandom doesn't want extended thing. They kind of want to keep filling in and filling in and filling in and filling in. 1.5, 1.75. Yeah.
Yeah, so I got the Force Awakens kind of, okay, wait a minute here. They've done this to me before.
Yep.
I think it was Polygon, but somebody had a really great one line for the title for the review, that it's basically the Ready Player One of the Alien universe. So basically, it's just
watching
like
that then.
Throw everything in there. It's like, oh, I know that.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah. So So I don't want to say any more. Anybody that hasn't seen it, I don't want to spoil it. It world builds in a really fun way, and there's stuff that I thought I was going to hate that I thought was great,
right?
But it just fell apart, and I don't know if that's like studio
worse than Prometheus and Covenant, because that
in a similar way, but with that kind of Force Awakens thing where they ruined it because they had to. I don't know. And it's weird because this was going to be like a direct to streaming, so kind of a lower level film. It was going to be for Hulu, and they decided to do theatrical, and I think it works as a theatrical film, but you can tell, I don't know, maybe as a streaming film, there was too many notes and too much input, and we need this line and we need this shot. But for the budget, I mean, it looked great, and you saw things you hadn't seen before. They did some interesting things that you hadn't seen before, on like kind of different scales and stuff. But there's a couple of real disappointing things, like Peter Cushing, like Grand Moff Tarkin level stuff, where you're just like, really? You really had to do that? There's an animated corpse basically, and then you're just like, oh, come on.
I've heard that
yeah, that's really,
We're
really...
bumming people out in chat because they wanted to see it.
Oh, sorry. Sorry. Shh.
Right.
But the beginning of it is really inspiring. It's like, oh yeah, you can do interesting things. So it made me think, there's fun stuff like the Colonist supplement for the Alien RPG.
Okay. Yep.
It's like, there's a lot in there, like, kind of indentured servitude and how shitty the Wayland is, and
Yep.
it's just like, yeah, there's a lot of stuff there. So I think it would be fun to play. And yeah, just don't meet too many weird xenomorphs along the way, and have it all.
One thing that I read, I kind of went nope, because personally, like, I do not like fast gestation facehuggers.
Oh yeah.
Right? Like, okay, yes, it needs to go at the speed of plot. The whole point of an Alien is that it makes pregnancy scary for anybody and everybody, and it's that slow burn, it's got to be a long period. If it's just like boop, like what is the point of that, right? Like, yeah,
and because we don't have a great idea of like how long that takes, that's what I liked in the fourth movie, Resurrection or whatever.
Which according to a lot of fans didn't happen. But
anyway, that's right. It didn't have it. But I like the gimmick in that I liked is there were people that were intentionally implanted, and they were smuggling them. They were basically smuggling the aliens inside these people, so they knew approximately how long it was going to take, but you didn't know. You didn't know how long these people had been there, and there's just a cargo hold full of implanted people. You're like, when are they going to start popping? What's going on? So I like that. But you're right. Yeah, they had to speed things up, and I think that was just a mistake. They're just like, yeah, we gotta tighten this.
Well,
up.
That's the thing. Like, it's an alien movie. Like, show us the chest bursting, right? Like, yeah, we know that's going to happen, but if that's kind of all it is, you're like,
yeah.
So it's kind of like a color by number, I guess. I feel a bit like. Anyway.
Yeah. So that's too bad. I wish there was a. There's a lot there that they could have messed with, and they just
can't be as bad as Covenant.
Yeah. It's not that frustrating. I mean, that was maddening how poorly that was done. But no, it's not like that. It's tighter. It's a smaller crew, and it's tighter, like the original Alien movie. And I didn't hate the age of the actors. I thought I really would. I thought it'd be like, what is this going to be, Goonies? But it wasn't. It wasn't that frustrating, and they didn't flesh all the characters out, but characters had something. They had some kind of motivation, and they had at least enough connection.
Motivation that made sense.
Because it's a real simple, like the thing that they want is kind of like what all kids want. It's like, I want to get out of this fucking place, I want to go somewhere where I can be free, and so that worked okay as everyone's kind of shared motive, and then there were different shades of that. So okay, let's not.
So if you want a good Aliens movie, like, play a cinematic scenario.
Yeah, right. Yeah, those are fun. Those are really fun. Yeah, so I hope there's more to come, because they're doing second edition.
I saw that, and I'm kind of disappointed, and I won't talk more about it. But you're going to Kickstarter with it again?
Yeah. So we were talking about that in the previous cast, and it's like, do you think that's a licensing thing? Do you think that's like we gotta?
That's what I thought.
Yeah, we got to keep this going because it's doing well, and But what do you think they're going to tweak? Like, what do you think?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah. Well, I mean, they've put out. We keep talking about it. They put out what, like, the main rule book, and then like 3 other books, right? Kind of. So there's got to be stuff just from the way kind of games work and how development works. They said, you know what? We've clarified something in this, or this one kind of works better, or you know what? People don't actually kind of use this, whatever. Right. So probably, like, I think it's been like 5 years, 6 years.
Yeah.
Everybody's going to go.
Fold that
here's what we've kind of learned over the 6 years.
Yeah, so I hope it's more of a refinement than a full version.
Yeah.
And just like with a Star Trek, so Star Trek has the Modifius has a second edition too, and they're saying it's all backwards compatible. It's all backwards. So it's like, well, then how much did you change? Like, what? Yeah. So interesting. We'll see. But good to see everybody in the chat. Hey, Orcas, Miguel, Matt, Dude, very cool, and of course Clarion. First in, and thanks for all the comments in the actual plays. I appreciate nice. I appreciate the feedback. That really helps. Hearing people are reacting to what we did and actually saw it.
People are actually watching.
Yes, yeah, right. Yes, Orcus is saying yes. What's wrong with Romulus will be fixed and that's a nice thing.
Ain't no second edition big enough. I'm sure.
If you're playing Aliens, then you don't have to do those stupid things. Those stupid things don't have to happen. Mm-hmm. Yes. Nice.
So everyone just goes, okay, you're all crash landing on a planet. Nope, we get off immediately. Right. Game over. Nice job, everyone.
Good job. All right, well, let's get started for this week.
I'm all set.
Welcome to the Weekly. I'm Jeremy.
I'm Chris.
And this week on the Weekly, Paizo giveaway, Golden Demon AI, Amazon 40K, sooner than we expected, and a Star Trek 1E bundle, getting you ready for second edition because it's all backwards compatible, right? Or so they say.
I mean, yeah.
All right, so kind of in the midst of this D&D extravaganza, which we're not actually getting that much, Paizo decided to get some attention with what they released last year, their second edition, the second edition of their core rules, and they're doing a giveaway. Okay. So you can get a free copy of the second edition core rule book, and it's the pencil sketch cover artwork. So it's pretty cool. It's a very neat looking edition. So exactly the the layout of the cover work, but it's the pencil, the original pencil work. So how do you do this? Well, you share your stories of your characters dying, whether brave or for silly reasons, and on social media, and then they'll pick some winners.
What is this? Morkbjorg?
Yeah.
All right. Anyway.
Yes. Right. So so that's Monday on Twitter. Yeah, they said share your character deaths. So Paizo said each story shared is a chance to win a sketch cover of the player's core book. And though it's not clear how many winners there's going to be, they'll pick everyone they pick will receive a copy, which is a $60 book. So that's a pretty decent prize. And this is the main source book for characters. I think there's a core 2 as well, but this is the character creation, basic rules and lore, the 8 full character classes, and 8 playable ancestries. Okay. So if you want the crunchier cousin of D&D, then Pathfinder 2, yeah, it doesn't look like you want that, but Pathfinder 2 might be for you. Okay.
It's free.
Yes,
it's free. Right? I assume.
If you get it for free. So here's a couple of examples that showed up on Twitter of people's people's deaths. So my first character, a wizard who had the vulnerability to positive energy due to an event in the game, was killed by our fighter when he made him drink a healing potion, trying to save him while unconscious.
It's pretty funny.
Yeah. And so the party was trying to get into a tower. My PC climbed up the outside and looked through a window. I was surprised to see a guard. The guard with the crossbow was not.
Yep. Okay.
Yes. And then so when trying later some dice rolls for falling damage, and I was working on rolling up a new PC. Yeah. So lots of fun. So this will happen over the next couple of weeks, and yes, and we're waiting for the player's handbook to, I guess, officially drop in retail. Yeah, okay. They've been handing out copies of it, but I'm not sure that. I think the release date is. Still pending.
I have no problem with this contest. I have to assume it's just kind of you're putting a random drawing by sharing one of these.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're probably just stuff that makes people laugh, or maybe get some likes and attention. But I thought that was a funny thing for them to be doing to stay. Hey guys, remember us? We're still here. Remember that OGL thing? Remember when people were like not paying attention to D&D?
Hey, D&D 2024. No, look over here. Look over here.
Right. All right, more AI controversy. So Warhammer's Golden Demon Painting Contest bans the use of AI. I don't know how AI. It's kind of a weird kind of extraneous thing. Okay. So Games Workshop has updated the rules for their miniatures painting contest and competitions, and says zero tolerance stance on AI. We will not allow anyone to use AI.
In the painting competition.
Okay. Yeah. So this all came from. Adepticon 2024, the Golden Demon, Neil Hollis submitted a dinosaur riding Eldari Exodite, and the base included a backdrop image, which it emerged had been generated using AI software. So the fans kind of quarreled about eligibility and is this allowed, and they didn't at that time really specify their AI policy. So now they have. So starting with the next Golden Demon at SPIEL Essen in October, they have said zero tolerance. They are saying they are not allowed to use artificial intelligence to generate any part of the entry. So that's the FAQ. Yeah, am I allowed to use AI? And the answer is just no on the FAQ. So
respect. I never would have assumed that backdrop, right?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So I imagine though that there are things like maybe painted. A lot of people do freehand painted shields and really complicated murals and stuff in their pieces. And so if you're just going to use AI
software
and print that out and seal it on the back, then I guess that would be how you would include dioramas and stuff, people would be doing stuff.
Yeah. I wonder if that's kind of tough, because my opinion, you used AI, but I mean, if it's like on like a plinth with like that background card, like is that technically part of the model?
Right. Yeah, you're not. Yeah, it's not involved in the model.
And I'm not saying people should try and do that to try and like skirt the thing, because GW has now said none, right?
Right. Yeah.
But like, I wonder how that affected judging.
Right.
This one.
Yeah, and I went the criteria. So that might have been because there might be like an overall score, like for the total, the whole piece instead of just the paint, painting technique or whatever. But this article, this was on Wargamer, had a really good description. So they're talking about artificial intelligence and that it's a bit of a misnomer. So it's when you're talking about this, it's basically limited pattern recognition and pattern generation. So they're not doing any more than a sieve knows between sand and rocks. That's basically what this software is doing. So it's not artificial intelligence creating artwork. It's just reprocessing patterns that it's detecting. They just came up with a new way to process scraped images. And so we'll see, and we'll see what kind of disruption this will eventually have, if any. We know 3D printing may be a threat, but we'll see what
that
this
you kind of
does.
understand.
Yeah.
And I was talking with someone yesterday about, like, they're not a war gamer at all, but they're from the UK, and so they know about GW, and I'm just kind of like, okay, look, it's kind of like the Kleenex, right, of wargaming world. But I understand why Games Workshop has kind of protected their models by making them so difficult to put together, right? It's no longer two halves that go together and then like arms and stuff. It's like you look at stuff and you're just like, how you really engineered how this thing was put together specifically to make it difficult for people to kit bash stuff.
Right. And also to recast,
or to recast.
Because the tolerances are so fine that, you can't do poor quality casting of the sprues anymore. So, it's interesting. And, we did talk about previously, too, for this latest expansion for Mantic's Deadzone. They're going all in with STLs. They basically had, on My Mini Factory, they had like a crowdfunding kind of thing where you just had pledge levels and you get the STLs right away. So they're going to release hard plastic kits of these, but they thought, if you want access to this right away and you already are 3D printing, here's everything we're releasing for this, and if you support us here, that'll help us be able to fund the tooling and casting of the plastic.
We talked before, like 3D printing is still not ubiquitous, right? Like you still have, there's still a market for like plastic kits or like the printing services or stuff. So I don't really, for some companies, it's not a danger. Or they go, okay, we don't have them, we still sell the kits, right? Or you find someone to print the stuff for you, or you print yourself, here's the STLs, right? Either way, we're still kind of getting it. But I kind of understand why a company like GW would be like, no, we don't want STLs.
Yeah. Right? They're not there yet.
I don't know what that's going to mean for them in the long term. Because, like, I kind of feel like where other companies either provide miniatures that you can use for lots of different games, or mostly focus on rule sets that you can kind of maybe use their models with or use something else with. GW is very specifically, no, our models are kind of and we want you to pay through the nose for them. Right.
Yeah, and I think if that model ever falls apart for them, it'll be interesting to see them transition, because they've already had a lot of success with licensing for video games. I think that's what
they would have to rely on. Then.
So it'd just be they'd hold on to that IP and they would just license it out to all these companies. Okay, you do the rules and you do the miniatures and just pay us. It won't be the billion-dollar company it was, but
or it might be if they're able to like license it to like decent companies,
right? I mean, like, and if it like lowered the barrier to entry for price wise, I think that would increase the player base significantly. Oh, speaking of Warhammer 40K, well, Amazon is already, so we've already gotten a little bit of news about this Amazon 40K deal, but this is going to be the first 40K content to hit Amazon streaming. So this is not the Henry Cavill film or television deal. This is Space Marine 2. So Secret Level is a new animation anthology from the same guys that did Love, Death, and Robots.
Not interested.
Yes, I know. That was a real hit and miss kind of a series there. So Blur Studio. and they are releasing stuff for Amazon Prime. So what the heck is this? 15 episodes called Secret Level. It's all episodes themed on video games. So instead of doing original sci-fi stories with some kind of robot content, they're just going to promote video games. So and one of those is going to be a promotion for the Space Marine 2, the 40K game that's coming out. So they premiered a little bit of this at Gamescom on their opening night live, and with a little bit of tease. And so I guess Tim Miller, I don't know if it's the same Tim Miller, the Deadpool Tim Miller, and Dave Wilson are the guys that came up with Love, Death, and Robots for Netflix. And so this is just going to be a totally separate project, separate episode, and a December deadline.
Okay.
No, I'm sorry, not the that's for December 10th. Yeah, sorry, December 10th they're going to go. But that's also, so December is also something that came up in the news with Amazon, because Amazon and Games Workshop are working together to come up with a mutually agreed kind of creative guidelines for what this bigger project with Henry Cavill, the movie streaming thing, and they haven't agreed yet. So if that falls apart, this deal may be over. Right. So yeah, they've kind of been kicking things around back and forth. So this is the first kind of 40K content, and it may, I guess, it's going to be kind of cutting it close, but they'll see what kind of reaction it gets. But
so,
yes, yeah.
Am I to understand that, like, okay, it's based on like a video game? It's something like Bolt Gun or whatever the
so this is the sequel to that pretty good the 3D kind of action shooter game, third person shooter game that had a fun multiplayer and stuff. But it recreated the first one was all orcs. I think the next is going to be all Tyranids, or mostly Tyranid.
Okay.
And so it's just going to be like a promo, like a little bit of story involved in that game. So the main character from that game and all that good stuff. But yeah, Amazon does have, unless this deal falls apart, exclusive rights to develop film and TV for Warhammer, and I think Warhammer Fantasy as well. So we'll see. But Miller says, they've been working on this secret level project for 3 years. Wow. And
that's gonna suck.
and that's what we're saying. But that was before the Henry Cavill stuff was announced or anything. So this is their own thing, and I'm sorry, it's not. It's September. September 9th. Not December. Okay. September 9th. So they'll get to see how much reaction it gets. But so what else is going on? So it's not just Space Marine. It's going to be a lot of different stuff. So Armored Core, Concord, Crossfire, Dungeons and Dragons, Exodus, Honor of Kings, Mega Man, New World, Ethereum, Pac-Man, Sifu, Spelunky, The Outer Worlds, Unreal Tournament, and then Space Marine 2. So it's just all over the place. So just basically like promotion videos. I don't know. It's going to be a little bit more story, or are they trying to get people to play games? Some of these games are pretty old. Like they have been out for a while. So I don't know. Unreal Tournament. Kind of jump back in there.
Only because it's connected, right? Okay.
Right.
Love, Death, and Robots. I've watched all of them, and 2, right?
Mm-hmm.
As a whole, they sucked. And I'm being kind of strong. As a whole, they sucked. There were individual episodes that I thought, that was pretty good, right? And most of them were the more like cerebral ones, right? Where I went, or the ones where I said, you know what? I hated the animation style here. But you tried to do something different with it. So, okay, you know what? That one's actually good. Right? But with like Love, Death, and Robots, I thought the idea was cool, like maybe not cutting edge, but different styles of animations, just like kind of like short 10, 15-minute things, whatever. And here's like an anthology of them. We're going to give people money to develop kind of... I don't know what this video game thing is. Like, it just feels really commercial.
Yeah. That's probably why they get the funding, because I guess it's a lot of PlayStation stuff as well. So other PlayStation games, will be included.
I would go that. Okay, we want to do kind of something like it again. Where are we going to get the money from? Why don't we kind of approach video game companies, or maybe we got approached to do it? And sure, we're using these IPs, and that's how we're getting the money, and it is kind of like a commercial. But
for the promotion for a lot of these games, though, they already did produce some nice CG animation for promoting. I don't know. So that's funny. So that'll be the first Warhammer we see on Amazon, and we'll go from there. We'll find out if this deal actually comes through and what they're arguing over creatively. I can't even imagine what the debate is. Probably Cavill's in there with his lore books and everything.
No,
it's like according to So we'll see what happens. And finally, So Modifius is trying to get their first edition of Star Trek to live long and prosper, I suppose.
Out the door. Oh, it's a humble bundle. It's fine.
Yes, so Humble Bundle is a first edition Humble Bundle to kind of catch you up on and this is basically everything that was released for first edition. So it's a really good deal. And if you don't have any of these books, or if you have played some Star Trek or whatever, and this gives you everything, kind of every era, and all the supplemental stuff, including like Lower Decks and the original animated series and stuff. Yeah, all that, the Filmation stuff. Yeah, so everything that you need. So assemble your Starfleet crew for the Star Trek bundle of tabletop role-playing games from Modifius. So this contains the Explorers Kit contains new character templates, expansions, campaign guides for the original series, Next Generation, Discovery, and more. You get everything you need to embark on an epic space journey with your friends while supporting Girls Who Code. So that's the charity that the bundle goes to. And it's basically everything. So for $25, you get 36 items, about 94% off the retail price for the PDFs. And it's everything, the Klingon content they released.
Like, I'm looking at the list that Jeremy copied on the thing over there. Like, it just keeps scrolling.
It's just everything. Yeah, Deep Space Nine, Voyager, all the Gamma, Delta, all the Quadrant stuff that they released, the Shackleton Expanse, Enterprise characters, because they give you the option to play in any era, just with a little fussing with the known aliens and technology. More of the Klingon Empire, and all of the supplements for the different divisions, command, science, and operations, and also their adventures collections, which are really good. We played those. We played one of those as kind of weekly episodes, and sometimes they were two-parters, but they worked pretty well as weekly episodes. And also the starter set. So the starter set is a really good way to get into the little Romulan adventure you're playing at the beginning. Kind of sets things up well. So yeah, it's basically everything. And even with the $1 pledge, that will get you the starter set and their Lurkers adventure. So right away you have the adventure in the starter set, pre-gen characters, and then a first adventure if you just want to try it out. But this will be updated, and the only thing that I've heard so far, the biggest change is going to be they're getting rid of the D6s. So it's going to be more similar to Dune. You're only ever rolling D20s. Okay. So 2 D20s. So taking away... So, they're probably converting it more into a Dune. So you're doing everything that would cause damage or whatever to disable a ship or to do something. You're doing extended tasks. So you're just collecting successes and spending momentum to achieve a task, which will destroy a ship, which will disable a combatant or whatever. And so it'll be interesting to see if that helps. And they also talked about the ship battle rules. Those needed a little bit of help, I think. So in the second edition, they're kind of going to refine, give everybody something to do.
Oh, okay. giving everyone something to do. I mean,
right.
I think that's always not always, but it seems like it's frequently kind of a sticking point in TTRPGs, right? Like, you don't just only want the pilot to be making the rolls. So everyone just kind of sits around.
Right.
Yeah. But making it feel like everyone is contributing, right? But I was thinking Star Trek battles, from what I remember, they're not that exciting. Just okay, we line up.
Yes. Yeah,
it's not the World War II inspired stuff for Star Wars. It's
right. Yeah. So hopefully they can make that work a bit better. But so I mean, this is basically everything that they've put out. So that's pretty impressive, and it's a ton of content. And even so, if you have a problem with that first core rulebook and the organization and the readability of it, they did release both their Game Master's Guide and their Player's Guide, which is basically just the rules and just the rules for what a player and a GM are going to need, and not all of the lore and the little missives from Starfleet and the little history blurbs and stuff. So they just give you a couple of really streamlined booklets, which hopefully they'll take that, they'll learn from that, and for the second edition book it'll be very clearly this is all the players need, and then this is all what the GMs need, and here's all of your background. And also that comes out in their supplements, so they don't need to really go crazy with background. All right, so that's $1 for 2 items, $15 for 13, and $25 for all 36, which is it's a ton of stuff.
That's a lot.
All right. So that is going to do it. So I'll put a link to the description in the description for that, and that'll do it for this week. So where can people find you?
I forget.
Somewhere here mostly, and then somewhere else.
Mostly,
either here or
mostly
work.
at work, right? Yeah. So, oh yeah, Blue Sky, Instagram, sometimes Threads, only because I have my settings set to like cross post stuff. That's Hivemind, HYVEMYND, and actually on Facebook in very select groups like the little 2mm, 6mm, or other kind of like wargaming groups. That's the only place I visit on Facebook, because the rest of it is just like a cesspool. Anyway,
is the font really small for the 2mm?
No, because surprisingly enough, like most people go 2mm, they're old.
Oh,
right?
Right.
I'm going to say it. They're old, so it's just like huge typeface and like huge blocks of troops because they're just like, yeah. Anyway. Yeah.
Oh no! So your minis get smaller the older you get. Oh, this is
no. The minis get smaller.
Yeah.
The bases they're mounted on.
Oh,
get bigger,
right.
right. So you're just like, yeah.
Right.
I
Base
started looking at the I started looking at the Strength and Honor war game, which is Roman Empire stuff, and it's like 100. Like, okay, they say you can use any size, right? But they give recommended sizes, and it's like I forget the term. It's a legion, right? Would be so you're looking at like 120mm by like 60mm base, because like it's so it's a bit like I've said before, like below a certain size, the base is, you don't save any space, because it's just like, here's an entire legion marching across it, and I have like 10 of them, right? So yeah, it's pretty funny. Anyway, where can people find you?
Oh, so yeah, coming up in a week, I'll be doing the September live stream for Abuse Cartoons. Yeah, so abusecartoons.com and Abuse Cartoons on YouTube, and Twitch is where that streams, and it'll stream on this channel as well, just to confuse and dismay people. And you can read that cartoon on GoComics, so gocomics.com/domesticabuse. And yeah, if you like what we're doing here on the weekly, consider becoming a weekling.
The strongest of all supporters.
At patreon.com/upturntable. You can basically tell us what you'd like to see more of, and just support what we're doing here and keep the weekly going. We'll hit 300 here eventually.
Oh, nice. More alien ripping apart.
Yes. And keep an eye out. So I'm posting the VSN actual play, and we're going to get back to Dune.
Nice.
Dune tomorrow, and so yeah, lots of fun stuff. And I was thinking about setting up a tier, like maybe just like a one-time, not a recurring, but like a one-time tier for like make us play a game in the actual play. It's like,
okay, like scheduling is absolutely a nightmare, but that would be pretty cool.
Yeah. So somebody say, yeah, you have to play this. It's going to be like all My Little Pony and Smurfs and stuff.
Hey, you know what?
Just for the fun of it.
Okay, just grade it, right?
Yeah.
A game we would think we would enjoy, like $1, right? Something we would absolutely hate.
Right.
Like
the more you think we would hate it. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yes. So, upturntable.com for all of that. And I'm also releasing the audio, and I'm trying to make them as long as possible, so I'm not just littering the RSS feed with a bunch of...
Gotcha.
So each mystery I'm going to kind of group together. So it's going to be about 10 hours per episode, but I'm putting the VSN audio, all of the John Carter audio, in 2 giant 12-hour files, is already on the RSS feed. So, if you prefer using Spotify or your podcast software to listen to stuff as opposed to YouTube, that is an easy way to do it. So that's all for this week. We'll be back next week.
Later, mortals.
Goodbye. All right. So, how's everybody doing? Good to, have a normal office stream. Hopefully less technical difficulties. So we got the only problem is the air conditioning sound. So we'll take that out of the audio. I'm recording it locally, so we'll get a little bit cleaner audio. So yeah, good to see everyone. Hopefully we're okay tomorrow for Dune. I don't want to tease that too much because then when something happens, it's disappointing. But yes, I've got 2 or 3 more of the VSN uploads to go, and like I said, the last one, the mystery, the last mystery of the Night's Out, is all like one big episode because we had the video for it as well. We've got the Foundry footage, which I was staying way zoomed out. I guess maybe I should go in. I could go in and like digitally zoom in on some of the tabletop, but I didn't. I was too busy running the mystery and didn't control the visuals very well. So it's very zoomed out maps and little tiny tokens. So we'll see. Yes. Oh yeah, so none of that audio, we recorded all of that audio privately. So none of that was streamed, only that last mystery. So that last, what will be session 12, that was the only thing that went out live. And it was a little bit hellish to put together because I had sound from different sources. So there's a couple of them. I should put a note in that one episode. It's like 7 or 8, where I used our locally recorded tracks, and there was bleed between the maybe headphones and microphone. So all of our tracks had this weird bleed. So when I put all the 3 tracks together, it had this weird reverb, this like artificial reverb. But yeah. So it's cool. We got to resurrect Niles and get this going. Nils, sorry, I'm back to mispronouncing and get it going. But they were a really fun duo. Axel and Nils work really well together. It's fun to watch them progress through all this wacky adventures. Oh yeah, the Acolyte cancellation, and people are, of course, whispering they're gonna willow that shit. They're gonna just delete it out. Forget it happened. The writing needed a little bit higher quality on the show, and I think that's like Leslie Headland supposedly had a reputation as a good writer from Russian Doll, and I didn't see any of that in Acolyte. Oh wow, no character sheet in the new player's handbook. That's funny. Nope. Yeah, you gotta give them your email address and credit card number if you want to download a character sheet. Wow. Oh yeah, Final Fantasy 14. Oh yeah. That was something. Yeah, because Miguel and I were kind of talking back and forth online. I think that's something that they're going to do some live stream or some sort of like Nintendo style, like here's the state of everything, here's what we're working on, but they're going to focus on Sigil, or as they called it, Sigil, on their the I don't know if it was a Gen Con actual play or whatever, but that's the funny thing, and they kind of went back and forth, and that was the criticism. You're going to do this virtual tabletop, that's just making a video game. But they said, no, we're not doing that. But the fact that it is a virtual, a digital experience for the tabletop RPG, they're entering that space where they're competing with companies much richer, and products that sell millions and millions of copies more than any tabletop game would ever sell. And like Miguel said, you're going to weigh paying your subscription for an MMO versus this, access to this, something that you do all the heavy lifting for, running the adventure and playing the adventure, playing your characters. So it's weird that they think, and especially when they're getting these people like that Chris Cow, whatever, the digital manager guy from Microsoft. Doesn't he understand that they're entering this digital space? And I think they've even experienced that with they're trying to do Magic the Gathering digitally, is that it's a whole different level and whole different expectations, and you are suddenly competing with every AAA video game release for people's time, because if they're going to be doing it on their PC or doing it on a device, they're not thinking of it, oh, this is a totally different thing that I'm doing. So it's a weird thing. So like Miguel was saying, pay $10 for Final Fantasy 14, or if you want to pay $30 monthly to get this like premium, all the content that they're going to be releasing and all their special miniatures or whatever. Yeah, it's not worth it. Yeah, we're not going to get Chris to be able to play D&D. Definitely not. Yes, and the grain of rice, probably a half grain of rice size miniatures. Yeah. Oh, really? Oh. Yeah, sorry, too much Alien Romulus talk. Oh yeah. That's what I. It was very inspiring. Some of the world building and stuff that they did in Alien Romulus is good, and that I'm trying to think of it in that same way. Like the Brian Herbert stuff is not good. Oh, and I started listening to just kind of in the background, like listening to the Sisterhood book, just to see like if they are going to use that as a source. I don't think that can be a source, because the way those books are written, it's very they're not written well, and it's very cheesy because they're jumping not in an interesting way. They're just like every chapter jumps to, now we're on Arrakis, now we're on Giedi Prime, now they just jump locations to like cover, characters doing stuff, and there's not a lot of connection to events that are going on. They're just like meanwhile, but there's not like narrative connection to it and stuff. So I don't think they can make a TV show that way. It'd be very weird and confusing and unsatisfying, because those books assume, I guess, that you're just in the series and you're like, you've been reading them in order, and so you're reading around the correct era. So when they bring things up, you'll know the context. They're just not done well. But yeah, there's fun stuff, like fun ideas. Maybe not. It gets very un-Dune like, but. Yeah, so I think but there's some good stuff. I would really like to, on that like minor, not minor as in underage, but minor as in like space mining, the really abused, kind of workers, the Weyland Yutani workers, and just how the company abuses people, and what they can kind of do to rise up against that would be pretty cool, because that was the interesting part of the, which they didn't really. It didn't get anywhere real satisfying, but we'll see. We will see. Hey, dude, Carolina, nice. How's it going? Yeah, that's going to be a weird. Yeah, Matt said, yeah, poor Paizo. They had it good for a moment there. Yeah, it was looking like Paizo was going to make up that. Because it used to be like, with 4th edition, it was like 50-50. People playing Pathfinder, people playing D&D. And, yeah, that's not the case. It's more like 80-20 now. If that, like, part of, some part of 20%. But, yeah, that was too bad. That OGL really gave them some hope, and they orked it up there for a while. We haven't heard about the orc for a while. Their agreement, their version of the OGL. Breaking news: Chris supports AI. What's wrong with AI? Let the golden demon use their AI. Oh yeah, new kill team. Yeah, that. Oh jeez. Yeah, I can't believe you brought that up, Miguel. Yeah, new kill team, and guess what? They're going back to inches. So 1st edition kill team inches, 2nd edition kill team square, circle, triangle, whatever that was distance, and now they're going back to inches. And they even released, I think when they did that 2nd edition of kill team, they even released like metal. Kind of rulers or like, rangefinder kind of stuff with the little shapes on it, like really nice, it's like people that bought that are such fools. But I guess that if you just, you have the rough conversion, if they are exact inch conversions, if like square is 4 inches and triangle is 2 inches, then I guess you could still use them. But I can't believe they're going back to inches. And what the hell was that thinking? It was probably just, you have to buy our shit, you have to buy our books, like it's going to be hard to, I don't know, homebrew or fuck with our rules if it's like it has 3 triangle range. I don't know, but yeah, new kill team. I can't even imagine. Yeah, it's like $400-$500 starter set because it's got some cool terrain in it and some, who knows, Kroot or whatever they're gonna throw in there. Carolina said, "What is Chris the android from Ex Machina?" Nice. Yeah, it's gonna be. I'm worried about these creative discussions that Amazon and Games Workshop are having, because it was weird. I don't know, any of this stuff, these rumors and stuff that were coming out, because. What was it? Amazon or somebody wanted to see. I think it was Games Workshop wanted to see Amazon's numbers for like sales numbers and stuff, and so that there's really weird stuff going on with this relationship. Maybe that's like subscriber numbers or whatever for Prime, but Yeah, it's going to be. Yeah, I don't know what they want to do. I don't think creatively Amazon has anybody good at the head of their programming. So yeah, who knows? Who knows what this? And that'll really be a big misstep. I mean, it's they've already stumbled a lot. Games Workshop trying to do. I mean, the fans do better content than Games Workshop does for itself. Like if you just look at the crap that's on. Warhammer Plus, most of their animation is garbage, and I still can't believe that it's all uncredited stuff, because especially digital animation, 3D animation, like there's no credit to voice actors, there's no credit to they credit the music, like music by, and then everything else is whatever Games Workshop Forge or whatever they call it, Story Forge, and but there's so many roles that they're not crediting in there, and I guess because they don't want anybody to use this as a I guess they still can in the industry say, yeah, we worked on this for Warhammer Plus, but nobody's going to have on their their web resume any samples or stuff they worked on for any of this stuff, because there's no way to verify that they had credit. So everybody can be part of StoryForge. I've worked many years for the StoryForge. I can't really specify what I did, but yeah, so no credit is so fucked up with those, because that's expensive, and they're producing it very slowly, and they're not crediting anybody. Disappointing Amazon. Happy Wolf, oh, nice to see you. Very cool. All right. Oh, that would be nice. Yeah, I wish the yeah, because I think some that used to be a formatting kind of thing, like especially for printing, like don't print background, and PDFs could specify between the text layer and a graphical layer. Although the way some people are making layouts and stuff now, I think all of that stuff is just combined. But that'd be nice to be able to just turn all the text off. Just can I just get a Word document of the player's handbook, please? Or Star Trek. Yeah, Star Trek could use a nice clean. But I think that's what they did. I have PDFs of both of those, the player's guide and the GM's guide. And I think they did a more simplified. I think they're still using the next generation color schemes and stuff. But it's not the pink purple text on black and all the crazy layout stuff. They just need two columns two columns and the occasional side kind of boxes. Yeah, so we'll see. Yeah, that's true, Carolina. Yeah, like limiting the number of dice. It's like that's less they can sell, and it's funny too because they still have all those Star Trek dice for sale. I guess if you're playing first edition, you'll still need. And that was the weird move that they did too. Is they did kind of who are those guys? Q Workshop, the guy that do the kind of the intricate etch stuff, sometimes pretty unreadable stuff. And I think that style was originally done for the Star Trek dice, because there's these original sets of dice that came out, and I think people complained about readability. They looked nice because they had like star fields and stuff on them, but then they did this more simplified and I think cheaper versions of the dice set, where it's just the two 20-sided dice and then the I think 5 D6s, but the symbols were very simplified. But I like that original look. It wasn't unreadable, and it was much more kind of elegant and intricate in its design, but they did a more simplified version later. So there's two sets, two generations of now obsolete dice for Star Trek, because you can't use those challenge dice for anything else, and even between games they're not super compatible, because sometimes they change. Sometimes they change how the hits and specials are dispersed. Arcus is saying, I have no idea what's happening on the Star Trek core book cover. I think a giant keg of coffee exploded or something. Nice. Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, but that'd be fun to get back to that as well. So yeah, Star Trek, especially those adventures, are pretty easy to run. It's just getting them, because I don't think none of them have official support. So you're kind of making your own maps and stuff. And I was surprised the level, the poor quality, the low level of Star Trek assets out there. Like there's so many Star Trek fanatics and people that have built the ships in 3D and stuff, but the quality of assets is not good. I was really disappointed. I think Star Wars has better like people supporting tabletop with different maps and assets and ships and stuff. It was really hard to find good quality Star Trek stuff, which was surprising. I'm not sure why that is. I thought there was a lot of computer programmers and Star Trek fans had a big the Venn diagrams overlap pretty significantly. Let's just make fun of the Acolyte the whole time. Starting a petition to get a second season. They should just go to comics or novels for that, for any more of that Acolyte content, which I think they will. I'm sure we're going to see those characters in a Marvel Star Wars comic series. It was, there's a couple of YouTube channels that do basically just read-throughs of comics. Some people, like, maybe so that they're not stepping on copyright stuff, they block out all the word balloons. They show the pages, they block out the word balloons, and they just like kind of paraphrase what's going on. They don't they're not reading the comics, but they're showing the artwork. But then there's other people that do like these audio dramas of like a lot of the Star Wars comics, and mostly the stuff that I was looking at was the Star Wars comics. And a lot of those characters are terrible. The original characters, like people were talking so much about that that Asian. She looks like Noodle from the Gorillas as a evil super scientist. Dr. Phasma, I don't know what her name is, but I heard people, Star Wars fans, saying that was a good character and she needs to get her own series or be in the animated series or do some streaming series about her. That's a terrible character, and the only gimmick is she gets paired up with these like evil C-3PO. It was like the Addams Family version of C-3PO and R2-D2, and they're like, "Oh, we want to kill everyone. That would make us so happy." Like this like protocol droid that's black, and it's a death droid, and then this whatever those are called, the astromech droid that's black, and they're evil droids. That's the gimmick. It's just like the Addams Family kind of gimmick, or the Munsters. But that character was really disappointing. People had been hyping. I've heard a lot of people say that's a great character. We need to see that character, and like it's a lot of garbage. And just the storyline, and I think this is all Marvel Disney stuff, so this is all canon stuff. It's terrible. It's really, really bad. So yeah, it's there's no hope for because they the expanded universe, they did a lot of stupid stuff in that. There was some interesting stuff, but a lot of stupid stuff as well. And it seems like when they reset it, and then Marvel did the Disney comics, they just screwed it up again. So it's like 2 generations of like making things useless. Sigil. Carolina. No, Sigil. They said Sigil. They did an official Wizards of the Coast Dungeons and Dragons Gen Con. The dungeon master said, "Now I'd like to show you Sigil." So I mean, I've done that as well. I can't make too much fun, because words that I've only seen written, I've never heard pronounced, I have mispronounced myself. But yeah, Sigil was very funny. It's like that was an official promotion, and it was even like embedded as an embedded video on a Wizards of the Coast page. Like, yikes. Yeah. And it's an odd name too. Project maybe that's just their working name too. It'll have some, whatever official name, but Project Sigil is what they're going to be talking about the next thing. Alien unionization. That's right, Orcus. That's what I'm all about. I'm like labor disputes, and maybe there's some xenomorph. Maybe they threaten to unleash the xenomorphs on the protesters. But alien unionization. Yeah, labor negotiation, strike. Yeah, I think we've got it. So Green Ronin is doing a new edition of The Expanse. Oh, nice. Yeah, I wonder. I'm curious how because I know there's an I know that there's an Expanse RPG. I wonder how that plays. Like, I wonder, because I think that's an interesting enough setting, and I think you can set it up pretty easily because, like, the belts, Mars and Earth. I think there's some good tensions and stuff, and creating a character might be fun in the midst of that. Yeah, but I wonder how that would play. And will it be the age system? Yeah. Yeah. Miguel's got one of the Kill Team metal measuring tools. Oh, nice. Oh, for pre-order. Oh, right. It was like a pre-order thing. Yes. Now you have to file down the shapes and etch in the inches. So stupid. Yeah, it just and they announced the new version, which people have talked about it being a good rule set. So I don't know why they're doing a new version, but they're doing a new version of the Lord of the Rings, the Middle Earth Battles or whatever they call it. But it's got the kind of two licenses. It's got Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit, and they're gonna fuck it up. And they already previewed the miniatures, and the miniatures look like all the crap. Like, they look like all the other stuff. Like, the miniatures looked a little derpy and silly for Lord of the Rings, but they had kind of a retro feel because they had that the brothers that sculpt for Citadel. It had that kind of look. There was, like, some one-piece cast that obviously, they were sculpted so they would come out of the mold easier in kind of that old 90s thinking, and it was charming. That was there's some charm to that. And now that they're just going to do the CAD, super CAD design stuff that they're doing for the other lines at Games Workshop, it's much less interesting. So I don't know. And they're going to fuck up the rules because, just like with Necromunda, they're going to bend the rules to sell miniatures. And it's like, oh yeah, you need to buy this fine cast garbage if you want to play this, special character. And, it's like they're going to break up the books in an uncomfortable way, make everything too expensive, and then make the rules force you to, do stupid shit, and probably obsolete a lot of the stuff you already have, especially the metal lines of stuff. So why the hell are they doing that? Yeah, so that was frustrating that they're even going to touch that, because they should have just left it as it is. Even if the rules are kind of dated or whatever, just leave it as they're squatting on that IP anyhow, just because they're afraid of the competition of anybody making a good Lord of the Rings series of miniatures that people would buy, away from them. So they ever since that, in the 90s, they squatted on that license. Just because they didn't want people to compete with the fantasy battles. Then they killed the old world, and then Age of Sigmar, and then they brought back the old world. Although it doesn't seem like the old world's getting any support at all. They're just releasing this old crap in new boxes, and at least the store in Nipponbashi and here in Japan, nothing. There's nothing from the old world line. Nothing at all. So it's all going to be online, and it's all sold out online. So it's ridiculous. It's just a half-assed, kind of, oh, we're bringing it back, all you curmudgeon-y old guys that paid a lot of, a ton of money for all the old Horus Heresy stuff, and they'll just do that with it. It sucks. Oh. Yeah, so we'll see. Oh, yeah. Kickstarter. So right now during lockdown, setting wise it's great. Oh, but it's the H. I was also talking about the Expanse still. Nice. Oh, after the Will Wheaton Fantasy Age actual play, Matt was out. Afra, thank you, Matt. Yeah, Dr. Afra is a garbage character. I'm sorry. It's just like some nerd wanted to put an Asian girl in it's Noodle from the Gorillas. It's exactly like the costume design and everything. It's so stupid. Yeah, I was not impressed with that character at all, and yeah, I don't know. It's weird. A New Zealand counterpart to Will Wheaton. His name is Ben Van Leo. Oh, nice. In the Outer Rim, yeah. Well, yeah, I think just like Ahsoka, yeah, they like their little, they like their petite little, whatever, their little girl characters in Star Wars. Yeah, because she's supposed to be some super scientist with her little sinister droids. I don't know. Oh yeah, the Rohirrim trailer. I don't know. It sucked. The one that I just saw, I think it was the second trailer. The one that I just saw, they made the mistake of showing the Peter Jackson stuff return to Rohan, and showed Gandalf the White and Aragorn like galloping towards the the kind of longhouse, the buildings of I don't know what that's, can't think of the city's name, but I don't know. It's going to just be very Japanese. It's just going to be a Japanese story that has the character design kind of Lord of the Rings, but the story seems just like any standard anime, fantasy story. It sounded, and maybe it's because there's voice actors from Game of Thrones or something, but it sounded a little Game of Thronesy in some of the dialogue in that trailer, and maybe it's just because they hired similar actors or actual Game of Thrones actors, or because it can't be worse than Rings of Power. Yeah, it definitely can't be that bad, but it's got some odd. They're doing a lot of more monsters and nasties and stuff in it, so we'll see. But and it's just for Warner Brothers to hold on to that IP, so it doesn't all go to so Embracer doesn't get it all. Yes, we definitely can agree that new Willow was crap, and it's funny because after Willow was taken off the streaming platform and everything, then a bunch of people started coming out, kind of like the revised opinions of the prequel trilogy. People kept coming and saying, "Oh, Willow always sucked." It's like Willow's always been crap. It's like out of context, I guess, but like at that time, it was like 80s Lucas feeling, the Lucas aesthetic fantasy was like, wow, that was amazing for that time. And had the nice action beats and stuff of like an Indiana Jones film or a Star Wars, but people were just bagging on Willow, the original movie, now just because of that series. But that series was really, really poorly done. I don't know what they were thinking, and I don't know what for a new, this isn't your grandpa's Willow. Whatever they're thinking with that stuff, but it's getting really old. That Tumblr level of writing and the self-insertion characters, and every woman has this instant amazing connection to each other, and this weird sisterhood thing that goes through all of these all of this writing. It's so strange. It's getting really exhausting. Yes. Yeah, Val Kilmer was great, and he met his wife, his short-term wife, in that. But it was great. It was great. That was a major role for a little person actor. That was so awesome. I mean, I think they really did, and it seemed to like we hadn't seen after that like anybody that did because Peter Jackson did Hobbits and Dwarves and just did camera tricks and digital tricks to size people, but that was a whole village of what are they called? Pecs is the derogatory name. Nelton, whatever they called, whatever the race of Willow was, the halfling type people. Like all I could think of is peck. But it was like they that was one of the last. Oh yeah, that was one of the last times to see that. I watched a few episodes of the Time Bandits on Apple Plus. I don't know. Is that a Taika Waititi, whatever his name is? Is that his thing, or did he? Because he directed the first episode. Is that his production? Because the tone of it kind of has, like, some of the dialogue kind of has his tone to it, that kind of back and forth stuff. But Yeah, I couldn't tell. I don't know. I mean, it's not offensively bad, but it doesn't have the feel. It doesn't have quite the feel of the original. The atmosphere is different. Yeah, it's just like it's like, why did they do it? I don't understand. I don't understand why it was made. Yeah. I watched the like 1.5 episodes. I kind of like, just kind of like, I don't know what this is, and then looked at the upcoming episodes. And each episode is just like, they're just jumping different time periods. So it's just like, I don't know. That was a really weird decision to just, I don't know. Did Peter Dinklage like really ruin it for little people in show business now? Did he just say, no, you can't do that anymore? Pulling up that ladder, I'm the last guy. Yeah, very strange. And just Phoebe from Friends is a hard watch. She's talking way too much in that. But it had that weird banter of it just felt that familiar banter. But I don't know what they were thinking with that. Just maybe familiar IP and just try to make something entertaining. But Apple's got some good stuff. I liked their Presumed Innocent, that kind of retelling of the Scott Turow, the Harrison Ford. They did the movie with Harrison Ford. They did that well. That was cool. They kind of updated that with cell phones and social media and stuff. But there's some good. Yeah, Dinklage. Yeah. That's too bad. But and the thing I didn't realize, this just occurred to me. So my Apple account is American, is US, so I'm using the US store and everything. But Apple Plus or Apple TV or whatever it's called has a ton of languages. So it's got Japanese subtitles. So that's great. Like you can watch it in Japan with Japanese people, and they don't have to be upset that they can't follow it. So it's really cool. Oh, Sunny, I gotta watch that. Yeah. Yeah, I gotta check that out. Yeah, you said stay away from Bad Monkey, but Sunny is nice. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, so we'll see what's up. Oh, and they're doing is that for Netflix or Amazon? They're doing a reboot of the Chronicles of Narnia, aren't they? They're having Barbie, the Barbie director, do Chronicles of Narnia, which I think that works best with a British aesthetic. Like I think a British production is probably going to be better than a whatever she is, whatever her aesthetic is. Yeah, I wonder. Oh yeah, so I'm gonna make all my Japanese friends watch Time Bandits and say, what the hell is this? What do you want you making me watch this for? But that was really cool. I mean, that's the thing, and I think because maybe the business deals or the economics of it are different. But Netflix and Hulu and everything, they don't have multiple subtitles for most content. Things that are on like Japanese Amazon are Japanese only, either Japanese subtitles or no subtitles. So all the Japanese language content they don't have, but if that stuff appears on American Amazon, it has, in the Japanese original, it has English subtitles. So they break things up. I like that Apple is just kind of one thing. I mean, I'm going to give them too much credit, but that's I wish that was how everything was. But it may just be because that stuff is produced and the licensing and stuff is handled differently, so they can just put it on the platform once and everybody accesses the membership in the store differently, but it's basically the same platform, just with all of the languages in the subtitles. Yes, yeah. Orcus, that's a good point. Don't deconstruct them for a modern audience. That would just be horrible. Yeah, I can't even imagine. I've seen in Japan. I have seen a ton of Japanese little people. There's one that gets on my station every morning. Yeah, there's a ton of little people. And the funny thing is Japanese. I think the medical like height thing, it's a medical condition, but the height thing where they say someone is like a dwarf in height. I think in Japan that has to be made even lower because there's a lot of like, normal adult-sized people that are literally like 4 foot something. There's little people here, but there are actual dwarfs. There are actual like medically dwarf Japanese people, and they're really small. They're really, really tiny. But yeah, there are. I don't think there's a lot of like famous. Like I don't think you see them a lot in. Because it's mostly, I think, British actors. There's a lot of British little people, British and American little people actors. But you don't see a lot of Asian, and maybe not even like Asian immigrants, like people who grew up in England. But there are. Yes, they get tiny. They get really tiny because already they're tiny, and then the small version of small people is so small. Oh yeah, that's right. Digital dwarves and Snow White. Yeah, that's gonna be. Is that even gonna be a thing? Are they even gonna release that? Are they just gonna give up on that? But yeah. So we'll see what happens with all this new crap coming out. And we got to figure out what we're playing. Are we doing Conan? Are you going to run Conan, Matt? After because we've got the quick start, right? We've got a quick start with pre-gens for the new Conan. Got to give that a try. But Randy Newman. Nice. Oh, Miguel made it back. Yeah, right. Nice. Yes. Continue on. Oh, cool. Okay. Oh, got an early date tomorrow, Orcus. Good night. Yeah, thanks for hanging out in the chat. Always fun to have you with us. Appreciate it. But yeah, let's do that. And there's a whole series of alchemy videos I saw dropped on YouTube. So that's inspiring that some of that content will be more usable, and they're showing you how to do the custom, do custom pre-gens, and how you can take the rule set and everything, but do your own homebrew adventure, and even all they're doing nice tutorials finally for alchemy, so that's good. It's getting me inspired, because after that Humble Bundle, we've got a ton of stuff. Yeah, between the Kickstarter and that Humble Bundle, we've got everything from Free League, all their original IP stuff, playable now. But I'd like Alien on there. I wonder if that's ever going to happen. I think it's on Foundry. I can't remember what the because they kind of went back and forth. Like Free League did some Fantasy Grounds, or I forget. They kind of jumped around a couple platforms, and I think stuff is coming out on Roll20 too. Which I don't know if that's worth, because they have that Discord thing now. Like you can run it in Discord, so they it's almost got me. They almost got me there, because that's a little bit tempting. Oh, that's right. I can't mention. That's right. I can only talk Project Sigil. All hail Project Sigil. Yes, I will not betray the VTT. I'm sure I'm going to be paying $30 a month to. Yeah, I don't think I'll ever have any use for that content. There's just too much else to do than get caught up in revised 5e. Assassin's Creed Grandma's House. Can't be any worse than the Assassin's Creed the Japanese setting. Yeah, that's not great. But yeah, I think it's a weird thing, and so they're going to do this promotion for the Sigil, Project Sigil, and then I think they're still doing a closed beta So you'll have access to some kind of closed beta, which they said earlier in the year that everyone was going to be able to try it by fall. So I don't know what that means. Yeah, so we'll see. But yeah, like what alchemy's shaping up. Medea. Medea's Assassin's Creed. Nice. So funny. The creative director for Assassin's Creed put up an interview apologizing to the Japanese players. Yeah, I can't believe how much response that got. That had like Japanese academics and everything, and there was even like a government official that made a official statement about the historical relevance of Yasuke. I think the name of the historical black samurai, probably just a black henchman, but they that really had a big reaction in Japan. And the guy that the historian that wrote the book, and it's like a 2000 something, it's like a recent book, like in the last 10 years or so. Sounds like a real shyster, because none of his source is verified. He has no verifiable sources. He's just pulling this stuff out of his ass. And then when people corner him, he says, well, I wrote a historical fiction. And so he plays around with going back and forth between historical fiction and so just this Brit shyster jackass that is just like making money writing these weird fantasy books about Japanese history. Yeah, but that was amazing. It got such a reaction. And yeah, the videos, there were official videos that were posted by professors and government officials. Like, this is the official statement from the Ministry of Education. Uh-oh. Oh, no, they're getting rid of the Acolyte merch. I can't get my OSHA t-shirt. I'll just get an OSHA t-shirt instead of an OSHA t-shirt. Yeah, I don't know. Dr. Afra, that's right. That sounds like the nasal spray. Was that Afrin? Dr. Afrin. Oh wow, all the Acolyte merch is gone from Disney's web store. Oh, and I just saw they're going to change Rotten Tomatoes, the audience scores, to prevent dogpiling. What do they call that? Review bombing. Yeah, review bombing on the audience score. So they're changing it to this aggregated stuff. So it's all going to be bullshit. Because already I think it's all bullshit. So everything, anybody that pays them money is going to be fresh or whatever. Yes, the willowing. Yeah, hopefully the willowing will begin of the Acolyte. Yeah, but that's the bad thing about the Acolyte failing is that just means that it's going to get less and less creative with Star Wars, and they're just going to do more. Hey, do you want a sequel to another animated series or live action? They'll just why don't they just remake the Clone Wars but live action? And just de-age all the actors. Yeah. Get that Clone Wars cartoon, complete with all the stupid kiddie slapstick and the little, morals. And it's always better to share and think about your friends' feelings. All that stuff that was in that original series. That's crazy. But yeah, so some Dune tomorrow, and so even if we have a last minute cancellation, I think we've got enough stuff that we can jump onto kind of alt characters to do just about anything. So yeah, and hopefully it's fun. It might get, because some of the stuff that that we're going to be dealing with might not feel real Dune. It might feel a little more Star Trek, like what we were doing with Star Trek than Dune, but I thought this might be a fun kind of change of pace, and Terry can be a pilot, and Jack can be a twisted mentat. It'll be all kinds of fun, but I think we'll be able to jump between Hopefully that'll work. Hopefully you guys can log out and log back in, and it'll all be the dilithium. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of dilithium crystals in Dune. It's just going to be a one-time thing, but we'll get it going. Yeah, I want to see those new rules for Star Trek, because that might be inspiring to play that second. There's a whole nother collection of adventures that we didn't play, and we skipped a couple because there was one that was a little that wasn't going to work very well because it felt a little Israel Palestine in its inspiration, so I don't think we're playing that. But we'll get that going. Yeah, so keep an eye out for that, and so we'll start around 8 p.m. Pacific Coast time in the U.S., so adjust accordingly wherever you are. And so it's like noon Japan time. All right, but that'll do it for this week. So everybody take care, and we'll be back again soon. Thank you to the members and patrons. And I was working to get the taking the whole mysteries of Essen and putting them into the like one big video for the member section, and doing that with John Carter as well. But it's a 12-hour limit on YouTube videos, and so I'm running into it's not easy to cut them up into 12-hour blocks. So I was trying to make them big and as long as possible. But I've got a 12-hour limit, and it gets a little dicey even rendering a video over 10 hours on Premiere and stuff. So we'll see. But see you soon, Matt. And thank you. Yeah, Carolina Miguel Orquis has left the building, and Dude and everybody. Yeah, good to see everybody, Miguel. Nice to have everyone in the chat. Always fun. And we got Chris to come back. Yeah, I guess the end of this month, this crazy summer schedule that Chris is tolerating, will be over. They're shorthanded, and they gave people way too much vacation. Because this is kind of golden week. Yeah, golden week. Yeah, silver week is in May or March. This is golden week, and no. It's Obon. Sorry, it's the Obon holiday. So the Day of the Dead. Yeah, it's kind of the Japanese Day of the Dead. So there's a lot of time off. That's right. All right. So we'll do this again next time. Thank you to everyone for supporting us, and we'll see you soon. Goodbye.